Hey guys, I'm gonna be bringing an Urza deck tech out to you. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you'll know I don't like to go over every single card. I think that's something you guys can do. I think the reason you're really watching this video is to see what's the win con and what are the best cards for the deck. So I'm gonna go over that right now. So let's start with the commander. The commander says when he enters the battlefield, you can create a 0/0 colorless creature token. That's an artifact that has +1/+1 for each other artifact you control. For each artifact you control, so it includes himself. His next ability, which is crazy, tap an untapped artifact you control to add a blue mana. And then his last ability, again crazy, tap for 5 colorless, shuffle your library, exile the top card, till end of turn you may cast that card for free. So, what are the win cons in this deck going to be? Well, the one win con is going to be cap size. This deck plays a lot on having infinite mana, so being able to return anyone's permanent to their hand with buyback, it allows you to return your opponent's entire board, keep them returned, and then use your commander and your very big construct to win the game. The other way to win is going to be Nexus of Fate. Nexus of Fate lets you take an extra turn and then shuffles back in your deck after you cast it, allowing you to cast it again for infinite turns. Again, and then, of course, winning by swinging with your commander or your really big construct. The last way that you can get to a win con is going to be Narset, part of Reveals. Narset but limits the amount of cards your opponents can draw per turn to 1, whereas Windfall makes your opponents discard all their cards to draw a new hand. But because they can only draw to 1 card, they'll all end up having 1 card while you have 7. At which point, if you're playing mono blue combo with 7 cards and your opponents are only playing with 1, at most likely you should be winning the game. So, how to get to infinite mana? There's really only one way, or there's 2 ways to get to infinite mana in this deck, and let's go over them right now. So one of them is going to be through Power Artifact and a artifact like Basalt Monolith. So Basalt Monolith taps for 3 and allows you to untap it for 3 mana. When you put Power Artifact on it, it reduces the activability of the cost of the artifact it's enchanted to by 2. So this means you can tap Basalt Monolith for 3, untap it for 1, essentially giving you infinite colorless mana. With that infinite colorless mana, you can use your commander's ability, third ability, infinite times until you get to have infinite turns with Nexus of Fate. Again, return things and winning the game by swinging with your commander or construct. You can also get through infinite mana by doing Isochron Scepter with Dramatic Reversal. Isochron Scepter allows you to imprint an instant that's 2 or less and pay 2 to copy it and cast it. Cast the copy. Dramatic Reversal untaps all your non-land permanents. So including Isochron Scepter, it allows you to tap everything else, which if you have at least 3 mana, will net you infinite mana. Again, using your commander infinite number of times to win the game. The last way to get your commander's ability off multiple times is through Paradox Engine. By having the ability of the commander, the third ability, to cast something, it allows you to untap your use your Paradox Engine's trigger to untap all your non-land permanents to use his ability again. This is probably the riskiest way to win and also the most fun because you never know what's going to happen. But as long as you have enough mana and you get a few good lucky beginning shuffles, you'll soon get to a point where you're generating so much mana that even if you whiff on lands a couple times, it won't really matter because you'll already have enough built up to do it again and again until you hit a spell. Now this deck does have a lot of counter spells, so you're going to be hitting counter spells. What I suggest to you is because you're allowed to cast those spells until the end of turn without paying their mana cost. When something small comes up like a Mox Opal or a Soul Ring, use your counter spells to try to counter it, and use additional counter spells to counter the counter spell. Each time, creating a Paradox Engine untap trigger, allowing you to net mana. That netting mana will allow you to do Urza much more. Um, you know. So That's the combo side of it. But there's still enough places left in the deck for stack pieces, and Stack is, with his ability to tap an artifact, is perfect with some well-known cards. So let's start with Trinisphere. Trinisphere is probably my favorite and the best card I think you can use with Urza. It makes it so every card that would cost less than 3 costs 3 instead. Oftentimes, this won't affect you when you're starting your combo to win, but you'll have to tap it in order to finish your combo. But it's great for against opponents who are going to be trying to play early tiny dorks or mana rocks to be able to get ahead. It's going to stop free counter spells and low cost counter spells, and it's really going to make your opponents prioritize what they're casting or deal with it. However, for you, because you can tap it at any time, you can always just tap Trinisphere and avoid the effects altogether because its effects are only active when untapped. The same is true for Winter Orb and Static Orb. Winter Orb only allows one land to untap each turn while it itself is untapped. As long as you tap it right before your turn starts, you can untap it as well as untap all your lands. Static Orb, this is pretty much the same thing as Winter Orb, except it has to deal with permanents and it's 2 instead of 1. Storage Matrix, another similar one. As long as it's untapped, each player has to choose between creature, artifact, or land, and they only get to untap the one they chose. Once again, you tap it right before your turn to avoid this effect on your turn. So that's the best stack pieces he has. You're gonna have some other stack pieces in the deck tech that Mono Blue is really good with. Back to Basics, Grafdigger's Cage, Torpor Orb, things like that. And then what I want to go over one more with you guys is Kill Switch. Kill Switch is just a fun card. If you're running Mycosynth Lattice for fun, you can add this in there too. It allows you to tap all other artifacts, including your own and your opponent's, and then they don't get to untap as long as Kill Switch remains tapped. So what you can do is tap everyone's artifacts on your turn, Kill Switch, and all your artifacts will untap together. Then use your commander's ability, tap Kill Switch, making it so everyone's artifacts have to stay tapped. And again, if you have Mycosynth Lattice, you can choose to make everyone's permanence artifacts, which will allow you to say, you don't get to untap your permanents, only I do. It's kind of a mean thing to do, and I'm going to tell you now, people aren't going to like playing with a Stax deck, but it is a good deck. So that's the gist of it. All the other cards are just good blue cards, good competitive cards to help you get to the win. That's the gist of the deck. If you have any better suggestions or any ideas, or you just want to have questions about it, just leave them in the comments below. I get back usually pretty quickly. If you like this deck, let me know if you play it out and how it plays for you. And yeah, until then, guys, I'll leave it there. So peace out.